You're listening to the Battle Buddies podcast.
When you do something hard, you are building yourself up to difficult things. And I know we'll talk more about that a little bit later. What I wanted to do, if we could, is talk a little bit about revisit, I suppose, the black belt lull. I know we've talked about this before, but I wanted to talk about comfort. And I think comfort is the confidence killer. The competence killer, excuse me. Comfort is the competence killer. And the confidence killer, I suppose. But here's what I mean by that. When you are in a place of comfort, normally that is a void of growth. Most comfortable places are void of growth. Not all the time, but whenever you try to learn something, right? Episode 2, Competence Ladder. Whenever you try to learn something, you are stepping out of that which is comfortable to you to take on that which is difficult, which is hard. And so doing hard stuff sometimes means getting out of that comfort zone. And, you know, it makes sense that we're in the comfort zone because the comfort zone is comfortable. You know, it's why we like sitting on the couch doing nothing. It's why we like playing video games for hours and hours. It's why we like taking a nice hot shower or sleeping in late. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but to challenge yourself sometimes means getting up and doing something, or trying a cold shower for once, or waking up early in the morning to go, work out or something like that. Those are the things, while not bad on their own, the things of comfort are ultimately not doing you any favors. Now, there is something to be said about rest. And I know this is definitely something that we will miss if we don't talk about it enough. And that is, there are times for everything. There is a time for resting. But if that's the only thing I'm ever doing, if I'm only ever sitting in what's comfortable, how am I going to improve myself? And so the way you improve yourself is work a little bit harder than the last time.
Absolutely. After I got my black belt, it was such a new world of martial arts that I was opened up to, that it was almost like all the new stuff was just motivation to train. I was like, I want to absorb all of this.
Yeah, but not everyone thinks that way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a healthy mindset to have. Here's mine, and I know I've said this already too, so I'm repeating. My black belt experience was that of the least amount of growth. When I first got my black belt, my growth stopped and stagnated because I thought I had achieved what I wanted and therefore didn't need any more growth, which, of course, as we talked about in episode 2, is not a healthy place to be. And so the proper growth would be sort of like what you said, where you go, oh, so much out there to learn. Not everyone thinks that way, unfortunately. A lot of people look at that and say, oh man, I'm not even close to being wherever I could be. But don't let that stop you from getting any further, right? A lot of people say, this is a little bit off topic, I suppose, but a lot of people don't progress because they're not going as quickly as they could. Mm-hmm. And if you just heard that and said, that doesn't make any sense, that's because it doesn't. The people who say, man, I'm just not really good at this, I'm not getting where I want to be. Well, yeah, you're not any closer to where you want to be if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And so moving a little bit is better than complaining and not moving at all, right? I said that today. I said to the students in Battle Buddies, I said, you are not doing yourself any favors by complaining about not getting anywhere. And when you wallow in that sense of failure, you're not getting any closer to the goal.
A great quote I heard once, I don't remember who it was by, and again, if I said this on the podcast already, apologies, but it's because it's a great quote. It was, I may walk slowly, but at least I never walk backwards. And in essence, you might think of staying in the comfort zone. You might think of that as, oh, I'm not walking backwards because I'm staying right here. I would argue that staying in the comfort zone is walking backwards, because
It's a
then
muscle. It either gets bigger or gets smaller.
exactly. And so if I came in and I learned some white belt techniques as someone who had never done martial arts before, and I learned like a front kick and a few punches and stuff like that, and then from there I never practiced anything else. I never practiced higher ranking techniques, and I never even practiced my martial arts again. I'm going to get worse at the things that I practice.
Just today, I was taking, right over there, I was taking Delaney's Kali class. I was like, man, I am out of this. I haven't done this in a while. And it was rusty. I've done those moves thousands of times, and I still went, ooh, I need to shape this up just a bit.
Yeah. But that's why it's so important to consistently trying to be challenging yourself and doing those hard things. And you look at people who are like ultra marathon runners and stuff like that, and those people are crazy, by the way. How they do it, it's beyond me. But really, how they do it is they train, they work hard, they understand that it's a slow process, but they're always willing to challenge themselves.
Yes, there's a great quote, and the guy who made it is really smart. What was this? Oh, it was me. That was me. Sorry, that was the worst lead-in. One of my favorite quotes is, there are few problems in the world, if any, that can't be solved through more training.
Yes.
And so the problem of this thing is hard, well, go practice that hard thing more and it becomes easy, right? The more you do something that's difficult, the easier it becomes. And I think that another place that comfort can stack up to is, I'm trying to think of a less strident word, but I'm just going to go for it. Comfort stacks up well with suffering. And suffering is I think, a guarantee in life. It's a guarantee. And so, if it's going to come in some form or another, I would rather be somewhat prepared for it, right? So, in our line of work, our suffering comes from our tests or our certifications or whatever, where we have to do a Krav cert and work out hard and get tired and get sweaty and do many, many hard things for 3 days straight, 8 hours a day. And you're not a brisk, sprightly human after all that. You're tired. But the more you train for that, for lack of a better term, the more you train for that suck, the less suck it will be.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy per se, but it's not going to be as bad as if you train for it a lot, right? The more you train to do something uncomfortable, the less uncomfortable that becomes. So prepping for something uncomfortable really is doing it, maybe in a smaller sense, but the more you do that, the easier it shall be.